morning, good night. Today, I'm gonna do a couple of things. One, we're gonna fit the wheels to the car. Two, we're gonna make sure they fit under the fenders. Three, we're gonna see how it works with and without hub-centric rings. And four, I don't know, if the rain lets up, we're gonna take it for a drive. We might drive it in the rain too, we'll see. It is so humid out here, it is just gross. I mean, the car is actually like fogged up. It's just ridiculous. All right, let's go. I'm trying out this new longer wheel key from Hethel Sport. So far, it's pretty cool. I mean, it just gives you a little bit more space to work, especially with a like a breaker bar or a torque wrench. All right, let's see. There we go. Okay, put these over here. This is how humid it is right now. These wheels are just covered with dampness, with dew. This is the driver's side wheel. They are rotational, so that's important that you make sure that they were mounted correctly and that they roll in the correct direction. That's for water dispersion purposes as if you drive through puddles or rain. Stock wheel and tire, 47.6. And then the new front wheel and tire, 44.5. Nice. This one we're going to try to mount without a hub-centric ring. We're going to see how that works. We're going to go drive the car after that and see if there's any vibration, meaning I've mounted it non-centered. I got this this tool, which is like a temporary stud, I guess a handy-dandy mounter thing, so we'll see if that does anything for us here. Go in all the way. I was lazy. There we go, all the way. Start these by hand. I don't want to cross-thread them. Mine is a 2011 base model. I think the base and the S use the same brakes, at least for these early years, and just tons of space. So absolutely no concern of, I mean, I'm not maybe doing the best of getting on camera, but tons and tons of space. So no worries. Okay, in the rear wheel with stock tire and wheel, 55.7. And here's the rear. Again, we're going down an inch diameter, 48.7. So that's huge, especially on the drive wheels. So I've got some hub-centric rings, and these came from Finland. It's pretty wild. And then I also have some more hub-centric rings. So these are the plastic type and some metal type. And these, well, guess where they came from. All right, I got two types of hub rings developed. I ordered two custom sets of hub rings. One was these metal ones. I didn't know if they were going to come in time. And then the other was these plastic ones that look like they're just 3D printed. Shouldn't matter long-term durability on these really, because it's not a structural part of the wheel. It's just a sort of a dowel pin that helps you mount these. They help you get it accurate as you throw it on the car. The big difference between these is the plastic, in theory, could melt under, racing heat. That's the possible issue here. I am autocrossing this now. I don't expect that to get hot, but I also do some time trial stuff. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go with the metal ones because it is more of a, I'm using these wheels for more of a racing type application. It's probably overkill, but I'd rather not do this twice. Now there's one big difference between the plastic and the metal. If you use metal, because this metal and that metal, are different, there's possibility of galvanic corrosion. So you need to use some sort of anti-seize. Today I'm going to be using this anti-seize grease. So the metal, better for high heat applications, but it's also a pain because you got to put this on and this makes it a little bit messy. So if you're just street driving your car, go with plastic. If you're going to do any race applications, go with metal. And I forgot to check one thing. So I'm going to check the inner diameter here. Oh, that pops right on, and it is a pretty good fit, very little wiggle. The 68.1 these are milled to. It probably could have been a 68.0 and still fit, but In fact, let me check the plastic ones, because these are, in theory, a 68.0. Let me see what these look like. Ooh, gotta get, oh, wow. Whoa. Holy mackerel. I wonder if these are to tolerance, or if these like are out of spec. I might throw a calipers on these to really check, because this is, what I ordered was a 68.0, so it should be sort of line to line on here, and they are, okay. I don't know if they're out of tolerance. We'll check that later. But these 68.1s fit, they slide right on, and then there's very little play. So I think that's what we're looking for. Okay, that's the outside. You don't have to go thick, but you're just supposed to try and get everything kind of, man, there's no way to do this without making a mess. I was hoping to kind of keep one hand clean, but that does not appear to be the, oh man. They're gooped up and on the car. Keep some paper towels with you. You're gonna need them. There we are. We'll hit him with the torque wrench in a minute. Okay, so just to recap, we've got metal hub-centric rings in the rear. We've got no hub-centric rings in the front. We're gonna see how this goes. She's wide, boys. She's very wide. The front looks tucked very nicely. I mean, it's super flush, which is really nice. Of course, it sticks out at the bottom. These are the stock alignment specs, the stock camber. The rear is wide. It's wide. The rear is wide. I don't know if I love the way the rear is sticking out. We'll see. Before we go any farther, let's make sure we get this all torqued up correctly. 80 foot-pounds. Just over here living in the woods. Oh, got a couple more. Let's see. Come on, slow pokes. There we go. They know the drill. Trot on through. Just for context, the wheels are very tucked over here in on the stock wheels, like on this 2011. I mean, they're well inside the wheel well, so they're very inside the wheel well. So it looks pushed in. It doesn't look perfect. I mean, the rears are another example of that. Very pushed in. For this one, I'm gonna try to put the hub-centric ring into the wheel rather than onto the hub spigot, and I think that's gonna work a little better. All right, this is my unscientific test, but this is full compression. And we've got plenty of space, no rubbing. And, ironically, super flush. We're gonna work with this. Okay, I couldn't help it. I gotta drive this car. It stopped raining. It's still gonna be a mess out there, but I just gotta do it.
So you can hear a little bit of wheel spin here in the rain. New tires, never been run, never been scrubbed in. And of course the rain makes everything spin a little bit more. But the biggest takeaway here is that the car feels like ready to accelerate, like freer revving under power, under load, which is great, which is what you want from a lighter wheel. So a couple of things. The tire pressure monitoring system synced the first time after about 2 to 3 miles of driving. It didn't have to do anything. It synced automatically, and it's been syncing faster in the subsequent times. Usually by like the end of the driveway, it's starting to give me tire pressures, which is great. I do feel like the car actually accelerates faster, and that would be because you got less unsprung weight from the wheels, especially going an inch down in the rear diameter. No big difference between lug-centric and hub-centric as far as that goes, but it's just easier to mount with the hub ring, so I'm going to use them. And basically, if you have wheel studs already, I don't actually think you need these hub rings. But if you're using the original wheel boats like I am, I think the hub Centric Rings makes everything mounting just faster and easier. And I recommend, plastic for street driving or performance driving, go with the metal. So one of the remedies I have for the wider tire is to actually add camber, and that supports the autocross and road racing that I'm doing with this car anyway, because it adds better ultimate grip during cornering. But it turned out that the time that I arranged with my shop to deliver the car, even though it was just hot the last week, now it was like suddenly snowing and cold again, and I'm driving my summer tires on my summer wheels through, basically 32-degree Fahrenheit, and I'm just like, don't crash, don't slide off into a ditch. So anyway, it worked out. I'm fine. The car's fine. Definitely needed a light foot to make sure that I wasn't doing any unnecessary spinning. Tender on the brakes, tender on the accelerator pedal, making sure this car stays on the road. So yeah, don't recommend driving your summer tires in the snow. Not recommended. But she made it, we made it, and got the alignment, and by the time I picked up the car, all that snow had melted and it warmed up again. Basically, the biggest thing here was to add maximum negative camber in the rear, so we got up to 2 degrees of negative camber on the rear wheels, and we matched that with about 1.1 or 1.3 degrees of negative camber on the front, which was the max we could do there. So finally, the new wheels, the new tires, the new added camber with the new alignment, everything's good. I'm very happy. The tires are super sticky. The car accelerates faster. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. And everything looks really good, right? These wheels, these PF01s are really nice looking wheels. This is the look from the rear. I mean, because I went with the extra wide tires, the fattest I could fit on these wheels, the tires still poke a little bit, but the wheel is essentially flush. So watch to the end and I'll give you the tire sizes that I used and also the recommended tire size to just pull it in just a little bit. But yeah, really nice looking wheels. I know I'm going to spend a lot of time getting brake dust off these things so they look clean though. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and stick around for the recommendation and the last couple of bloopers at the end. So you may already know I got the wheels from Greg's Racing Parts, and Greg's recommendation was to go with the front of 245 and the rear 275. I went 10 millimeters wider on both. I basically wanted to fit as fat a tire as I could on here for autocross and time trials, and you can see that I'm poking out a little bit. So you can always go with Greg's recommendation there.
Lotus car. Lotus car.
All right, Chicken Wing, you ready to get in? No, you're not, Chicken Wing. Who are you?
Drumstick.
All right, Drumstick. Let's get you in. 1, we're going to fit the wheels to the car. 2, we're going to make sure they fit under the fenders. 3, what am I doing with my pants?